So previously I've just designed what I consider to be the perfect D20, which has a little bit more characteristics to it, whereas like it has a little bit of wobble, it's a little bit uncertain, and I thought it's like, well, it's like why not take on the ultimate challenge of designing a D6 the way I want it to be. So it's like usually the problem I have with most cheap D6s is that they usually design in a way where it's like you design it as a cube, but you just chamfer off just the edges, so it's technically just a rounded cube. So it's like when you roll it, it just falls into place, but it doesn't really get. It's like you can practically just cheat by just dropping it. Like hopefully if it's heavy enough, it might just fall on the face that you wanted it to be. So it's like that's not really what I wanted it. So it's like as a change, it's like I designed this is the one that I've designed. So when you roll it, it's like it has a little bit of a roll. It's a bit uncertain. It will just like hover around, and it's like but at the same time, it's like it won't like just roll across the whole table. And it's like even with like minimal effort, it will still give you a little bit of a roll to it. Now the principle behind it is that it's like I started off with a sphere, but I just cut off the flat faces, and to make sure that it balances, it's like all the pips are also like sized accordingly. So it's like the 2 is larger. It's like the pips on the 2s are slightly larger than the 6s. And with this dice, it's like I also have introduced the feature where it's like it's much more mathematically balanced, in the sense where it's like each vertices are more or less equal. Have the equal sum, where it's like you just add 2 plus 4 plus 5, that will be 11, and it's like and most faces would have 11, like 4 plus 6 plus 1 equals to 11, and so on and so forth. So it's like you will see that the opposite faces are not the type which will add up to 7, but it will be like the sequential number, like the opposite face will be a 2, the 3 will be a 4, the 5 and the 6. But because it's like the pips are all like sized in a way where it's like they would be the same volume for each pip, so it's like they are weightedly balanced in a way. Now I also designed it in a way where it's like it's easy to scale. It's like you can easily just scale it to whatever size that you want. So it's like the dice is actually 10 centimeters, but it's like you can scale it down to whatever size and it will still look great. Like this one is a 2 centimeter dice, and this will be a 15 centimeter dice, and you can go as small as 12 centimeters, which is almost about the size of the smallest that you can actually print. And the good thing about it is like it's like if you paint it, of course it will look awesome, but at the same time it's like I've indented the groove just enough where it's like even if you don't paint it, it's like you can actually read the numbers quite easily. Like so it's like when you flip it over, it's like you can actually see that it's a 2, it's a 6. It's like it's not too hard to read, and even the smallest dice have like a sufficient indentation where it's like you can actually see the values. And also they will also retain like the same characteristics, where it's like it will just roll for a bit, but they will try to but at the same time it's like they won't roll across the table, they will still settle in on a value itself. So it's like yeah, so this is the D6 I've designed. What I consider to be the perfect characteristic that I wanted from the dice, where it's like it was bit it's like a balance, but at the same time it has that feeling of uncertainty which you won't really know like what value you will get. And even if you drop it, like even from a very like short angle, it will still like give you a little bit of a roll. That means it's like it's technically harder to cheat. The downside to this is that you may come up with a scenario where it's like it will tilt to the side, like it's like you can just balance it like this, but that's part of the charm, I guess. So yeah, hope you enjoy the print, and yeah, Let me know what you think about it.